the election in December. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank all the milestones that we achieved won't be possible first without the hard work, selfless sacrifice of the members and officers of the organization. Second, the trust who has been very, very supportive to us, particularly the corporate, Karen, who's always behind us, Neil McDonald, our chief executive, and our executive sponsor, which is going to be one of the speakers later, Bridget Kelly. And obviously our private sponsor, because we are running on zero budget and we are non-profit organization. Without them, this event is not possible as well. And also, most especially, the reason why we work hard is because all of you, for all the Filipino community. We are doing this, we're trying to be excellent for all of you. So, I would like to make a special mention from the conception of our organization, who is always right beside me, calling me in the middle of the night, discussing the events, as our close friend, brother. So, I'm going to close now. Before I'm going to tell you, just a quick anecdote, why do we have this conference? So, Randolph and I were attending conference in London. So I sat there. I'm a man, I'm a little man who has an envious attitude. I'm jealous of the things that's being done by others. So I was watching the conference, and then suddenly I spoke to one of the guests. I started inviting them. Would you like to come to our conference? And Randolph looked at me. We don't have a conference. And I said to Randolph, we are going to have a conference. And I remember when I was watching Karen, or she allowed us to, when we participated on her conference, and when we are part of, one of the things I said there is, which Martin Lee said, we will be ambitious and do this, and Karen said to me, Greg, it's good to be ambitious. So for the next set of officers, all I can say is, which is going to be presented, this is interesting, later Jacob Yo is going to present the Filipino attitude. One of the things that with us, we are satisfied for what we are now. All I can say is, we have to aim higher. There's no such thing as hard or difficult. Everything can be done. It can be done. Who would you think this is possible? We've been here 20 years, nobody thought about this. Nobody thought about the sport bet because they think it can be done. So whoever the next set of officers, I challenge you. You know, we can do more. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. Ako siya na yanin. Regional Chief Nurse Southeast England, Karen Bonner. Chief Nurse BHT. Distinguished speakers, honored guests, Kalinga Filipino Organization officers and board members headed by President Gregory Gonzalez, my fellow workers in the National Health Services, respected representatives of the Social Care Services, ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant morning. As yet another eventful year draws to a curtain close, and we take stock of all that has been, I am profoundly honored to give the rationale in today's gathering that delves deeper into the intricately linked themes of struggle and gratitude. The United Kingdom and Ireland are home to around 200,000 Filipinos, according to the latest data from the Philippine Embassy. The first diaspora of nurses in Stoke Mandeville Hospital came in early 2000, bringing with them the tenacity and hope to give a better life to countless souls back home. As of March 2021, nationality data from the House of Commons show that people from the Philippines made up the third largest group of NHS staff in the UK, behind only from Indian and British, with 25,423 Filipino staff recorded. From then and now, so much have changed. The landscape for many may seem unrecognizable, especially at the height of the looming global crisis brought about by the pandemic. During this tragically bizarre situation the world is facing and barely surviving the 2 years of never-before-seen virus that had brought every nation to its knees, with a plethora of difficulties engulfing the country, a group of like-minded individuals came together to bring a radical change to form the first Filipino organization in the province of Buckinghamshire and within the Trust that has ushered in an era of hope amongst Filipino in the community that helps spawn a new movement to the pressing issues in the community's party political conundrum. History was not made by those who did nothing, says our gracious Queen Elizabeth in the critically claims and personal skills to be more flexible, innovative, and adaptive. Without these awareness and skill, we face the inevitable prospect of becoming immersed in bureaucratic infighting, parochial politics, and destructive power struggles, which greatly retard organizational initiative, innovation, morale, and performance. This convention and regional summit, which the organization initiated, will not by itself change your views or ways of acquiring skills and implementing or championing the Filipino nurse. It does provide an opportunity and an avenue to think differently and can refocus your attention.
Hi, hello. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce one of our distinguished guest speaker for today. She is a registered mental health nurse and has worked in mental health and social care services for 19 years. She is passionate about mental health, care and service delivery that is truly person-centered. She began her nursing career working in Camden and Islington NHS Foundation Trust, working across inpatient services before moving into the Trust's community services, where she held a number of positions over 13 years. Her previous roles include Director of Quality, South Region, and Professional Lead for Acute Mental Health and Addictions with Priority Group, and Head of Inspection for Adult Social Care at the Care Quality Commission. Before, she was appointed Regional Chief Nurse at NHS England and NHS Improvement South East England. She was the Chief Nursing Officer at Sussex Partnership NHS Foundation Trust. Let us all welcome with a big round of applause for our Regional Chief Nurse for South East NHS England, Ms.
What a lovely, warm welcome this morning, and it's made me feel quite emotional. And it's fabulous to see so many of you here. I was just saying with Karen there, it's odd to hear yourself and your history, your career trajectory read out there. But most importantly of all, I wanted to be here in person today to support your endeavours, your efforts, your teamwork, your reflections for nursing and midwifery across the South East of England. So firstly, I'd say a huge privilege to be in the room with each and every one of you today. And I'm hugely grateful, as are the National Nursing Team, for the contribution that you make to health and care delivery across Buckinghamshire and across the South East of England. What I wanted to do today was just share some of the reflections in terms of nursing and midwifery development across the whole of the South East of England, and where we are in terms of workforce development, retention, and some of the things that I think will be important for us as we move forward, coming off of the back of 2 years of the pandemic and real challenges across health and social care services. So firstly, from a workforce point of view, we will continue to progress with international recruitment and ensure that our internationally educated nurses are contributing to health and social care delivery across all of England, as we have since the NHS conception, because I think that's what really delivers the best patient care experience and outcomes. It's the diversity of thought, it's the experience and clinical skill and support that comes from all around the world globally that really makes the NHS a great institution. But in order to do that well, we need to nurture and support each and every one of you in your respective roles to really feel valued, to be part of the community, and to be part of those organisations that you're working within, and really develop you and nurture you irrespective of the role that you start out in. I always tell everybody I started out in the basement of the Royal London Hospital. It is true. Starting my career as a healthcare assistant and working my way up to regional chief nurse for South East England. So it is absolutely possible for you to do, and I encourage you to absolutely go for what it is that you're passionate about, because it's possible here if you're determined to do it. So, international recruitment, international educated nurses remains a priority. The other bit for me, and I'm sure Karen will talk to you about it, and others, Bridget, Neil and Rachel when they join later today, is retention. So how do we really retain the best support staff, healthcare support workers, nurses and midwives? And the way that we do that is to nurture cultures where we feel valued, where we're supported, where we're developed, and that's why days like today are really important as you come together and to reflect around what's important for each and every one of you. The other couple of areas I wanted to touch on are that we're heading into a really, really tricky period for health and for social care over this winter period. And of course, we've seen what we can do together as the one team over the last couple of years as we've responded to the pandemic, and it's been phenomenal, the efforts that we've all put in and the things that we've achieved together, and we've got to continue to build on that as we move forward. But one of the things for me that are really important is not how we treat each other when things are going well, it's how we treat each other when the chips are down. And what is important is connections and relationships and being there for one another, and the networks and supporting growth and encouraging that for one another. So I really, really plead with you that as we go into this next period, as you start your career journeys from wherever it is that you are positioned now, that you hold, support one another, yeah? Really, really key. The other couple of things I think I just want to touch on, and they come out of some of the operational stuff, I don't want to focus too heavily on that at the moment, but it's the maternity services and it's the Kirkup review. And certainly for me at the moment as Chief Nurse for South East of England, I've been really focused on the learning from the independent inquiry into maternity services at East Kent. And there's a lot for us to do there, and you might think, well, why are you focusing on that today? The reason I focus on that is it ties into the theme around leadership, culture, connections, relationship and working together. And the themes that emerge from that are true not just for maternity and neonatal services, they're true for every element of NHS and health and social care services. And the importance of coming together and working together and nurturing cultures and supporting one another and working as the one team ring true. That is the core tenet of that report, and if we'd have done that differently, outcomes would have been different. So I really want to touch on that and bring that to the forefront of your mind in terms of the theme of one team working together as we go forward. So look, I don't want to hold up lots of the time today. I want to say have a fabulous day. I'll spend as much of the time as I can with you in person. A huge thank you for all that you're doing to support delivery of services across health and social care, and believe in your ability to create change, be the change that you want to see, and be clear with us through Karen and others about how we support, nurture and develop you along your career pathway and journey. Thank you all very, very much.
I think one thing, I have been in Buckinghamshire Hospital for more than 20 years now, and never in my personal experience that we have the senior management being with us, checking us every day, let alone the regional director. So it's their visibility and transparency and being there that we can actually connect to them. So, have you got any question for our first speaker, Portia? Anyone?
Don't be shy, you can ask anything you want.
Anyway, thank you very much. So, Mary,
Vice President.
may we request our Vice President, please?
Picture, please.
Good morning, everyone. The next speaker will be May Parsons. He's a Filipino-British nurse working within the NHS since 2003. She is currently the modern matron for respiratory at university hospitals in Coventry since October 2020, in the peak of the second wave of the COVID pandemic. May Parsons has come to worldwide fame when she delivered the first COVID-19 vaccine outside of clinical trials to Margaret Cunan last December 2020 in Coventry. May's hard work, determination, and vaccination advocacy for patient and staff safety has earned her this privileged historic role in the global fight against the pandemic. May's passion for nursing and advocacy for equality is prominent through her work as a regional director for Filipino Nurses UK Association. The NHS has been awarded the George Cross Medal in July 2021, which is the highest civilian award given for acts of the greatest heroism or for most conspicuous courage in circumstance of extreme danger by the late Her Majesty the Queen, and May has proudly represented NHS England to receive the medal from the Queen herself on July 2022. As the George Cross recipient, May has also been elected to represent NHS England during the Queen's funeral procession held last September 2021. May is passionate about continuing professional education and has also recently completed her Masters of Science on Global Healthcare Management in Coventry University during the pandemic. Coventry University has awarded May the Endeavour Award for completing the course despite the enormous pressures posed by the pandemic while also managing the COVID wards. Health Science Journal has included May in their 2022 list of 50 most influential Black, Asian, and minority ethnic people in health, rising stars, and she is one of the first Filipina nurses to be included in this prestigious list. May is setting up May Parsons Foundation, a charity that will help young adults from underprivileged background in the Philippines and UK to achieve nursing and midwifery qualifications, as well as bridging the gap for funding for exams required to qualify and work in the Philippines and the UK. Let's all welcome May Parsons.
Please forgive me for doing this because my lenses are getting dry, so I'm not crying yet. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for having me here today with you. It's such a privilege to meet you all in person, and after all the COVID, it's really lovely to see faces now, although I still feel weird without my mask on, but yeah. And thank you so much for inviting me today. I would not miss this for the world. I was just telling everybody that I graduated from a master's yesterday with my parents coming. My parents has come down from Durham to celebrate with me, but I couldn't miss this opportunity to actually share with you the pride that I have, ultimately, of being a Filipino and putting that Filipino face in the globe, around the world, across and up and down the UK, because we are here. And I feel like we need to be seen, to be heard. And I'm hoping that that is something that I would put value into the work that all of you do phenomenally up and down the UK, but also globally. Because obviously the Philippines delivers a lot of Filipino nurses around the globe, and your impact is felt in the ripples of the things that you do daily. And don't hesitate to claim that, because every time that you do your work, every day in, day out, you make such a huge difference, not just to your patients, but to their families and their communities. And I'm so proud to be one of you. On top of the introduction, thank you so much for that kind introduction. I was just going to share with you my journey, which is probably going to be the same but different with all of you guys here. So I came here in 2003. I am the matron for respiratory services, and you've already heard this. I'm one of the regional directors for West Midlands for Filipino Nursing Association UK, which was born out of the pandemic in 2020. Now this is actually we have the PNA UK, but the FNA UK is also another one. But this is just to make sure that we're supporting each other virtually out of the pandemic, because clearly we were all struggling, because we have our families back home, we all have our own issues, and we couldn't be together to kind of support each other. And this is born out of that pandemic. And now that we're here, it's just bringing all of us together, putting all our voices together to make it a stronger voice for everybody to hear. Next slide, please. Oh, actually, go back. So the May Parsons Foundation, they touched on that. So with this, I feel like this is my responsibility to put it out there, that I've been given a platform. I want to use it to the best that I could to help not just our nursing communities, but also the Filipinos back home. I'm doing the May Parsons Foundation in the UK as well as in the Philippines. In the Philippines, it's going to be focusing on helping those underprivileged people that wants to go into nursing but couldn't afford it. I don't know if they know, in the UK they have student loans. In the Philippines, the student loans are your mothers, your fathers, your uncles, your grandparents, your godmothers, all of them, even your neighbors, and even the one that lends you 5-6. Yeah? Those are the ones that pay your tuition fees. And I wanted to provide hope and inspire those people who actually want to go into nursing. I truly believe nursing is not made. You are born into nursing. And this is what I wanted to do. Filipinos, as a culturally, we are born to care for our families, to care for our loved ones, and to care for our patients the way that we care for our families. And I want to give the opportunities to those that are underprivileged and couldn't afford to go into nursing, to but to get into nursing, which they will find that it's part of their passion. And also, what I believe in the May Parsons Foundation is you change one person's lives in the Philippines and you change the whole family. The whole trajectory of that family and their communities change by that changing that one person's lives. We all know we send money back home, we send all of our incomes, and we go, right, my niece is going to university, my nephew is going to graduation, we send those monies all the time. And we do that, and I wanted to help in my own little way to help. Also, World Health Organization has claimed that actually by 2030, there's going to be about 250,000 nurses gap in the whole world. 250 nurses, 250 more of us, we need more of us. And what I wanted to do is, I know it's a drop in the ocean, but that ripple, every little thing that we do has got an effect that will be felt all throughout. Just remember, it doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be world-changing, but anything that you do in your own little way has got its ripples. And I'm hoping that the May Parsons Foundation will ripple through the Filipino community back home. So this is my life journey. They've already mentioned it to you guys. I just wanted to share with you that I didn't come from an affluent family. I had so many pictures of graduations because I'm so proud, because that is something that also we have to kind of endeavor to have. In the Philippines, we're not all lucky to graduate. We're not all lucky to access education. We're not all lucky enough to have that sponsor from America, from our grandparents, to have that education. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys are also proud of your accomplishments, because we are not going to be here without our family support, and clearly your determination to be here today. Next slide, please. So I wanted to share with you this the mentioned capping. You know, do you all remember when you had your pledge in your capping ceremony, in your vigil? This is such a stark reminder for me of every day when I have challenges and when it gets that everything gets you down. I come back to that capping and to that promise to serve our communities. To remember why we are nurses. To remember in our hearts, in every fiber of our bodies, why we became nurses. Of all the challenges that you will encounter, you have to remember, why are you a nurse? Because you like to change people's lives. You want to impact people's lives, and this is why we do what we do. So if anything gets you down, remember your capping, remember your promise, remember the changes, the positive impact you have on every life that you touch daily. So I just wanted to show you my pictures. Because look, I was skinny there.
We were all.
Weren't we all skinny? So, I just want to put it out there, I was half of my size before I came. So, nursing as a Filipino. I am truly, truly proud of being a Filipino. The first interview that I had, when they asked me about the vaccination, I said I'm a Filipino British nurse. I wouldn't be standing here in front of you today without that indispensable Filipino culture embedded in me with the flip-flop back home. That is truly something I'm proud of. There's obviously a lot of other bad things that you can pick and choose from the Filipino culture, but one of the things that I would actually say is that there are nearly 41,000 or over 41,000 UK nurses registered in NMC in the UK, and all of us, one way or another, in different degrees, have the Filipino culture in us, and we always display this daily. We're quiet, we're submissive, we do our work, we do our head downs, we do the best that we can, and we don't complain. We don't even, when we feel really aggrieved, we don't even say anything. And those are the things that I'm kind of wanting to kind of get to you, just to say to you that in the UK, it's such a culturally diverse country, and there are lots of people like Karen and Akosia that will support us to be able to have that voice, to be able to, we have the face, we are being seen, but we have to use our voices. If we don't say to the people that supports us what we need, they're not going to know. They're not mind readers. These are the things that I've kind of wanted to change in terms of the Filipino culture, but anything like, other than that, I'm so proud that our culture, our way of life, the way that we look after our families and our friends, and it's truly a definition of why I am here today. When I was doing my flu vaccination thing, I did 140 in a day. That was on top of my job. It's not my daily job. I did it because I felt that that is something that would help my patients, protecting them, taking the weakest link out. And I know that the staff members are all busy, and I go, well, we all go above and beyond for the things that we do because we're passionate about it, and that is one thing that I was passionate about. And I think that comes out because I'm a Filipino. We just do and give our best all the time. And I'd like to say that that's why I'm here today with you, because that has shown and that's been recognized. And I think I'm just really lucky that that happened, because I would have been doing that for years and nobody would have noticed. But we do that quietly. We quietly work. And sometimes I think one of the things that we also start doing is to start shouting about how good you are, because it's okay. It's okay to celebrate the amazing things that you do. You deserve the celebration. So you need to keep that voice up and to say, you know what, I'm really proud of this and I'm going to share it with everybody. I think I said to everybody on Thursday, my last day at work, I'm like, I'm graduating. Because it's blood, tears and sweat. You worked hard for it, and be proud. Filipinos, we're all hardworking, and also I think one of the things that I'd like to say is our faith. I know the UK is culturally diverse, we have lots of religion. One of the things that kept me afloat during COVID was faith. My faith, and also my supportive family. I was saying to the support that I have from my family is essential for you to survive any challenges. And this is one of the support that you can count on. These people that are around you, look around you in your left and right, these are the people that you can count on, because that's what we do. We look after our families and our communities and our friends. And now that I'm here, I'm hoping that I'm welcomed in your community, and if there's anything that I can do for you, please let me know. I'm just text away. I did say to Randolph, I'm not going to miss this chance to say to you guys that I am here. If there's anything that you need of me, and if it's within my gift, I will do it. You know, nursing is Filipino, like I said, there's 41,000 of us. Not everybody's achievements and, you know, great practices are highlighted, but we have phenomenal Filipino nurse leaders out there. So, you know, they're absolutely trailblazers, and now that we've got the face, we've got the voice, we've got to stop. The first challenge that we have is ourselves. That's the only, I think that is the first challenge that you have to overcome, is to stopping yourself, reaching your full potential, and going for the things that you like. That's one of our issues. But look, we work with integrity, like I said in there, and nursing is a passion. It's not, once nursing is not considered as a job and it's a passion, it makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? You do it because you love it. Oh my God, I still love it. But next, Randolph.
Sorry.
Just to show you my pictures.
This one?
Yes. Just to show you my pictures, I'm really honored and privileged to stand in front of all these amazing people representing you as a nurse, as a Filipino British nurse, representing all of you in this event. I always think of everyone and each and every one of you when I go to these events. I am not alone in that stage. I am not alone meeting the Queen or meeting Ruth May Daly. I'm not alone. I think about you all, and you are all with me. So I know, do I have 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can talk for England.
I know.
Sorry. So, I know this is probably going to be the same for you guys, the challenges that we face. I came here in 2003, I've never seen snow, never felt snow, I couldn't even understand anybody because they were talking really quickly. Like. So, and don't get me started with Glasgow accents that I really couldn't. So the language, obviously the barriers, especially for our newly arrived nurses, I think it's really important that we encourage them to assimilate and to actually encourage them to stop watching the Filipino films. Just stop. Korean! Don't do this! We're not going to do Korean here. Honestly, it will help your practice. If you practice, it's really, really important that you start watching the BBC, CNN, all of those. It's really important. Even if you what's that show at 6 o'clock? Hollyoaks. EastEnders, that's it. It's really important. Yeah, Emmerdale. It's really important that we encourage them to start doing that because it's for their own progress. It's for their own development. It's really. You have to work on it. This is different, isn't it? American accent, the Filipino accent, and then the British accent, and then all the other local ones. It's really difficult. But I think that's one of the things that we probably have to support our new ones. So encourage them to keep doing that. The weather, you know, we've got 17 weathers in a day. Warm and cold. But that was one of the things that I encountered in terms of the weather. The culture is very different, but like I said, in the UK, it's such a diverse country. There is a place for each and every one of us. And you do not need to lose your Filipino culture. You can lose some of the bad ones. You can pick and choose. But what makes you stand out and what makes you special is the culture that you have. And I think it's one thing to be proud of it and one thing to be really accepting of the fact that you can be anything you want to be. You're not tied up to the specific culture, qualities that you want to. You're not tied to that. You're not just a Filipino, you're a multidimensional person. You can pick and choose the things, the values, the integrity, all of those. You can pick and choose those. In England, you can be anything you want to be. You can choose. We have a place here. And I think taking the ownership of that place that you belong is the start of you to flower and to actually develop. Because once you've accepted the fact that this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to achieve, and taking your place of belonging in here, that's when you're going to actually flourish. Yeah? COVID, obviously, it has posed an enormous impact on all of us up and down the country, globally, the nurses. I was just saying to one of the interviews I did, that I think all of us didn't expect for us to go to work and be, thinking that, am I going to die? Am I going to get the virus? I've volunteered to go to ITU for 6 weeks in the first COVID pandemic, and the burden of guilt is truly immense, because I was balancing between my service to my community and that promise that I was talking to you about, that promise to serve, balancing that between the risk that I'm posing to my family. And I'm sure each and every one of you here has had the same dilemma, but we're through it. And I'm so proud to see all of you here striving and trying to get back up, and just to remember that we're all here together and we are all here to support each other. But don't forget, you've got this support network. Anti-vaccination, I think that was something that I didn't really kind of expect. There was a lot of that there, but also the dangers of that is there's a lot of things going on in Google, Dr. Googles and things like that. So I was having a lot of that, so I was being a target. But again, we work with integrity, we work with the belief that actually science is, proven, it's research, it's not based on gossip, it's not based on WhatsApp or any personal agenda. So we keep to what we do, and we need to make sure that those people that need to hear the right messages, we need to be giving it to them. That's one of our priorities as nurses, is to ensure that our communities are safe by giving them the right information. And social media bullying. No, honestly, they said to me I was ugly, and I said, I'm a nurse, I'm not an actress. If I was an actress, I'd be expecting this to be different, but I am a nurse. So I take that I just take that in my stride, but I just wanted to say that social media bullying, I am so deeply worried for our children nowadays with their mental health, with the expectations to be perfect, with the expectations to be always happy. That's my worry. I'm a 42-year-old woman. I can take social media bullying, but I worry for our future kids, for our children. And I think again that is one of the things that we have to bear in mind, that we serve not just the adults, we serve the communities, the children, and I think that is also one of our responsibilities, to ensure that mental health today is it's really ridiculously bad. So again, for me, that is one of the things that I'd like to put out there, that social media bullying doesn't happen just to me. It happens to the children that are on TikTok. I can't dance, but I'll try. But, the social media bullying is terrible. So if there's anything that you want to help with in terms of tackling that in your local communities and getting our children be in the right kind of space of mind, please do reach out, and I'm more than happy to kind of share with them how I get over the social media bullying. Also, I would like to say to you guys, in the UK, you can be anything you want to be.
Amen.
You can be anything you want to be. The only people that will stop you from realizing the dreams that you would have is you. Dream high and dream big. My mum said to me when I was 9, if you dream for the stars, if you fail, if you keep trying and you fail, at least you'll end up in the roof. Whereas if you only dream of the roof, you'll fall on the ground. So she tells me, dream high and dream big. And in nursing, there is so much diversity in the role. There's so much more potential. You guys just need to find what you're really, really passionate about. And there's a lot out there. Like I said, there's a space for each and every one of us to thrive and to develop and to progress. And be brave. The thing that kind of stops people from doing the things that they like or want to do is because they're scared. But being brave will get you to the next step. And you will never know what that next step looks like if you don't overcome the barriers, your fears. Be brave and jump into the abyss full force, and you will see that it will reap, the awards that you will reap at the end of it will be worth it. Nothing worth having is going to be ever easy. But if you're committed to having that, you will. Nothing should stop you. And keep going. It's not always going to be smooth sailing. Like we say, life is a circle. Sometimes you're going to be up, sometimes you're going to be down. But it's not always going to be down. It's bound to get out. So keep going. And obviously surround yourself with the people that will support you and keep pushing you to be your better versions of yourselves. And that's it. So just remember as well, what matters to you. In all of the things that we do, in all of the things that I do, I think about them. I think about, on top of what I do, the things that I do daily, I think about who I do it for. I do it for myself, for my satisfaction, for my own fulfillment, but also for these. These are the people that matters to me. These are the people that at my lowest point in my life are there to support me and to give me up. And being here with you guys now, I can add you to that list. That you are going to be supporting each other and supporting me, and I'll be supporting you. So again, it's important to, when you're having the lowest moment of your life, think about who you're doing it for.
Thank you. It really is inspirational. So, the two purpose of this conference is to highlight, like what she said, highlight our talents and the diverse ethnic minority within Buckinghamshire. We are in a position in Buckinghamshire at the moment, particularly in Buck Self-Care Trust, that we have people who belongs to ethnic minority which occupy the higher position. If you have got any talent, I know you're satisfied for what you do, I'm good at theater, I'm good at assisting, but if you got any other talent, you're good at information technology, there's senior people that we have in here, you can approach them. You can tell them, is there any opportunity for me? Don't hesitate, and this is one of the main purpose of this conference, to actually encourage you. And I echo what May Parsons said. We have to start highlighting our talent.
Also, if you do not ask, you will not get. Keep asking. Even if you ask and you get a no, at least you asked. So I'm asking, so you ask.
Amen.
Anybody, any questions for me?
Questions? Any questions?
Any questions for me? Yes.
Yes, questions? Questions?
I know the question, it's fine. Run.
Yes, yeah, we got introduce yourself, please.
Hello, hi, May. Congratulations. Very proud of you. I'm Arndella, work in critical care as a sister.
Hello.
Like, as you said, like any other cultures, we Filipinos have our strengths and weaknesses. What advice can you give to someone who's just arrived from the Philippines or who is starting and would like to navigate challenges and take on a leadership role?
So the leadership. In here, they value your contributions and your past experiences. So for every year, you have your personal development review. You need
Oh, is the advice to someone who's new?
new. How new?
So who's
Just arrived.
Just arrived.
Just arrived.
Just arrived.
And what do you think would be, because like you said, like any other cultures, we have our strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
So what attributes do you think that particular person has to develop in them to be able to compete with others and be a leader?
So I think if you're newly arrived here, so obviously, bearing in mind you've done your OSCEs and you're already in the board, yeah? What I would say is that to actually seek out more senior people that's already in the role to get some bearing in terms of, because you're talking about navigating the pathway for leadership courses or leadership role, I think the first thing is to actually ensure that we have the necessary skills and the knowledge and getting that on board and actually saying, oh, I want to go and shadow somebody in that role, if that's a particular role that you're interested in, because that is something that will give you an insight. But actually having that, before you can go into any interviews in the UK, you have to get the necessary skills to be shortlisted. So that is really important. And even if you've just arrived here, there should be nothing stopping you from applying for leadership courses, because before you come over, you've already got experience from back home. Yeah? So So it shouldn't stop you from applying for leadership courses. There's RCM, there's FNF, there's all sorts of areas outside of your trust, but obviously some trusts do offer leadership courses as well. So if you're thinking about a pathway and going into a leadership role, make sure that your eggs or your ducks are in line. Your skills, your competencies, your qualifications are in there. Shadow somebody, speak to somebody in that senior role that you aspire to. But there shouldn't be anything that should stop you from getting into that, however new you are here. And like I said, you have to have that courage to ask. Because the courage to ask is something that we sometimes don't do, because we've already said, oh, I'm new here, so I'm not going to get that. But if you don't ask it, they're not going to necessarily know that that's what you aspire to, and they won't be able to support you if they don't know. So ask. Yeah.
Thank you. One last question from Catherine.
Hi, I'm Catherine, sister of Ward 4. How would you be able to encourage more of our nurses to accept change and to come out from comfort zone?
That's really nice, because the comfort zone is where we normally step back onto because it's easy, that's what we're used to, that's what we like to do, that we've been there for 10 years, 20 years. Your comfort zone is always be your comfort zone. They're always going to be there. But if you aspire and dream to be something else and to improve and to progress, you will have to come out of that comfort zone. Change is not easy for anybody, and sometimes it varies in degrees for each and every one of us. But if you want to grow, di ba yung tawag nila sa Pilipino, lagnat laki? Di ba? You'll have a fever, so when you're growing, you have a fever. So we call it lagnat laki. That's not easy for children to go through. So we shouldn't have the same easy pathway either for change. So if you would like change, and if you want to improve, and you want to progress, you will have to go through change. And you will have to accept the fact that there will be challenges in front of you. And I think that commitment to change, to discomfort, to the challenges, that is essentially what's going to build on you to be that better person that you were the last time. But some people are just are happy to just be what they are with what they've been doing for the next 20 years. That's fine. But the next person might want to be better, might want to be a specialist in cardiology, or you want to be a matron like me, or a chief nurse like Karen. You know, the dreams that you have, the only way that it can happen is through change. That is it. You cannot be in your comfort zone all the time and expect things to be given to you. You will have to work hard for it. No one is going to give it to you. You'll have to actually work for the things that you want. And that includes change. And it's inevitable. It's just the way that you have to commit and to work with that, and to actually accept that that's what you need to do. And once you've accepted that that's what you needed to do and that's what you wanted to do, the world is truly your oyster. Yeah? Oyster. Kalamansi.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we make houses.
Okay, thank you very much. We're gonna go for a quick break, coffee break. Just to make you aware that I have asked the host to pour in the coffee already, because